What's guys, some of this? Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. This is Shitake News. I'm excited to have you here. Today's gonna be a lighter day, or this segment's gonna be lighter, just because we've been hitting on the coronavirus a lot, and it's getting kind of depressing. So it's important, and I hope you're taking care of yourself. Wash your hands, put on your mask, be careful, try avoid big crowds. But today we're gonna keep it slightly lighter to a point. We're gonna start off with taking a nap is good for you. And I absolutely endorse this concept. Now, they talk about how people who take a nap versus people who don't, the differences in happiness, the differences in how productive they are. And it's a joke in Mexico that, or it's a joke that follows Latinos or Mexicans that you take siestas here and there. And there was a joke when I was in the military a lot that people were like, oh, he needs to go take a siesta. He's all grumpy. But actually, I do take my naps. And when I got here to Japan and I joined the local economy, the private sector, and I started working for a company, they actually encourage you to take a nap for lunch. They're like, yeah, eat your lunch. You have an hour break. I take about say 15 minutes eating, because I usually bring my own lunch, and then I spend the next 40 minutes sleeping, dreaming away, and I wake up absolutely refreshed. People can talk, people can do anything, and I think that's just military stuff, that you can fall asleep wherever you are, and I can do that. I'd pull my chair close to the table, I lean forward on it and take a nap. I'd rest on my arms, and I would sleep like a baby. Deep sleeping. And I even dream. I wake up and I'm worried I've been sleeping for 4 hours when it's really been 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Anything more than 20, 30 minutes is too much. Your body starts to really have a hard time waking up. But 20, 25 minutes, that's just a good nap. You wake up absolutely refreshed like a Disney princess. Well, I'm glad I don't wear makeup because I would look all smudged, but I definitely feel great after a nap, and it's okay here. So I encourage you to take one. Not more than 20, 30 minutes. Anything more than that, you start risking waking up groggy. But a short nap, and if you can, the more you do it, the easier it is to fall asleep. I used to love sleeping in my car. I would go to the park, roll down the windows, lean back, and keep the music playing while I take a nap. I used to enjoy that. But no, now I can sleep anywhere. I will even sleep on the subways. I like Japan just because how safe it is. I used to sleep on the subway, or I still do. I sleep on the subway. I take a nice nap. The corner seat right by the door has a little wall you can lean against, and it's really comfortable. And I have my bags between on the floor between my legs, and I've never had it touched or stolen or messed with. So I sleep deeply, and somehow my programming kicks in once I get to the stop, and I'm like, oh, here's Shinjuku Station, and I wake up and I'm like, I hope this is the right station. I jump off and I'm like, oh, it is. Haha. But yeah, taking a nap is good for you. They recommend it. They give you a whole bunch of statistics, but the main idea is take a nap, enjoy. I can vouch for that, and it gets easier and easier every time. It's like the day just restarts. I'm sorry, repeating myself, but yeah, just good advice for you. Next up, bum. Now, this is not so happy news. Speak not. 2 gentlemen are arrested for a slur. Now, this slur wasn't directed at anyone. It was like a university. They were playing a game where see how many curse words or slurs you can get away with before you get in trouble. And they got in trouble. Somebody took a video, and they got arrested for it. Now, it wasn't it was the slur they said was racial, and I'm pretty sure they said others, but the law that kicked in was you can't make fun of someone based on their race, their gender, or their religion, which is an old law. It was like in 1917 when it was implemented. And nowadays people are taking a look at that, and people know better now. Not that they know better, but they know better that violates a constitutional right. So they're looking at getting rid of the law, because it does infringe on your freedom. What if no matter what gender you are, no matter what race you are, you should be allowed to say anything you like. There should be nothing that makes somebody break down and cry and lose their mind. No words that should destroy a human being. or that should make them violent or aggressive towards you. Words are words. They have very little meaning. They only have as much meaning as you give them. So I feel like that law should be banned. And I think it should be changed because you should have the right to use any word. That may be mean or it might make people feel uncomfortable. But comfort isn't something you should strive for while you're walking around in the streets. Comfort should be amongst your friends and families or in your house or while you sleep. You shouldn't be comfortable 24/7. It makes you soft. So there's not really anything you could ever say to me that would make me, not just because the Marine Corps, gives you a nice thick skin that you can deal with pretty much anything anyone could ever call you. Your best friend calls you the most, ridiculous slurs you've ever thought of. And sometimes you tip the hat and give them kudos when they come up with something unique. Like, wow, man, that was really, really good. Good God, I haven't heard that ever. But I think there's nothing good that comes from being overly sensitive to words. Especially if they're literally just words. And the only time you should be worried is if they're threats of violence. That's the only time you should ever be concerned with those words, with any words. But these two individuals are arrested, and they're taking a look at that law. If it's a law, it needs to be enforced. If it's an unjust law, it needs to be addressed. So I'm not wishing them luck. I don't hope they're okay. I don't care what goes on, but I hope the law's enforced. And if the law's not right, I hope the law gets they change it or get rid of it. That's the only sad news today. Well, at least if you're conservative. But that's just my thoughts on him. Them, sorry you got caught. Next up, this one's interesting. Because there's a lot of people starting their own states or trying to start their own states. I think there's one up here by Oregon. It'll be like New Grand, Oregon. And there's a few places where they're trying to separate from the major cities. And that's basically what it is. These rural areas that don't feel the states, speak for them anymore. And I understand that. I lived in my hometown's like somewhere up here. And California is huge. Even Japan that fits inside California is broken down into a couple dozen states. So to say that somebody from North Cali understands what somebody from South Cali needs, it's ridiculous. I feel like it should be broken up. There's nothing. So what? California will still have the same amount of electorals. There'll be 2 more senators in the Senate. Basically it. Because they'll wherever they may split. I think Oregon's the one that's losing most of. The only thing they'll lose is land, but they'll have a few less electoral votes, and they'll have a few less House of Representatives, but there'll be 2 more senators in the Senate. That's not a bad thing. So having more states, I don't think is a negative. that there's a negative aspect to it, because as population grows, a lot of the U.S. has more than enough room to grow and to expand and to develop. And I feel like having one state to manage all of Kansas or even Texas or all of these areas, they can be broken down into smaller states. North and South Dakota, those 2 separate. North Carolina, Virginia, I think is trying to separate as well. There's West Virginia and one more. That's okay to me, in my opinion. So I don't think it's ever going to happen. These states would have to agree to give up the land. And I honestly don't see that happening. So if it does happen, tip my hat to it for getting something new done. I'd like to, there'd be a new star on the flag, which would be interesting. But I think Puerto Rico should also be a state. I don't know why they're a property, but or they're almost like a colony, but we can't. They don't have any active senators in there. Who knows? We'll see what comes out of it, but it is something that's happening right now. A lot of conservatives want to break off from the liberal states and make their own states, which one thing I don't agree with is that, if things get tough, just run away. I don't like that mentality. But LA, San Diego, San Francisco, these are huge lefty cities. And they're controlling all this other areas. San Francisco might have no clue what's going down at the border, and in LA down here won't have any clue what's going up here north of Cali. So if it breaks down, I'm sure they'll have their own little governments, and they might swing blue, they might swing red, but I feel like they'll have a better understanding of their area if the area was smaller. So we'll see where that goes, but it's exciting. You might get a new state. You don't get to see that every day. But them worried about being a lefty might not matter anywhere, because it seems the Ninth Circuit has turned red. What does that mean? The Ninth Circuit determines a lot, or is like a step right below the what do you call them? The Supreme Court. There you go. So a lot of laws get banned or turned over because they kind of interpret the laws. And they'll look at like the travel ban. They stopped it because they thought it was wrong. So they stopped the travel ban in California. But now that the Ninth Circuit, and that was the Ninth Circuit, that was actually them. Now that it's red, they're more for Trump's policies, and that's going to be a big change. He recently got, when all the drama was going on about the squad, he made drama with Twitter and the impeachment. He put in place 51 federal judges, 51. So a third of the Ninth Circuit was put in by Trump, and he put conservative judges. Now I have my doubts about some of those judges, but they're appointed for life, so they're going to have plenty of time to get a hang of it. And this was a big win. The Ninth Circuit, they're gonna make calls about the border. They're gonna make calls about the travel bans. They're gonna make calls about a lot of things, and now they're conservative, which completely reverses whoever they were just a year ago. That's a big change. Nobody saw it coming. Everybody's complaining about these little idiotic issues, and he made a big move here, a huge move. Asylum seekers, all of that will be affected by this, and no one saw it coming. So the Ninth Circuit turning red is a huge deal. Here's a link to it. So this is going to be a huge victory for him. This is something he wanted, something no one saw coming, and something that's going to greatly benefit him. But yeah, all I can say is nobody saw it coming. Almost like a sucker punch. So he's having a good time. He just finished impeachment. He just got the Ninth Circuit turned over, which was one of the biggest headaches. I think the one that manages New York is the second, the Second Circuit that he wants to deal with. But yeah, him appointing that many federal judges was out of no. He planned it though. If not him, somebody in his team had this idea or had this plan. He's like, make noise, nobody's gonna notice. And now he got what he wanted, which is good news for him. But I don't trust government no matter what. So always keep an eye on them. Any law they pass that is unjust should be always scrutinized. Last news I have for you today is another win for this guy. He was impeached, which was I think this was the third president to ever be impeached. But he was impeached for, there was no capital crime. There was nothing major that he did that was wrong. So the impeachment never went anywhere. But what did happen is he made jokes about it. He wasn't stressed at all about the impeachment. And now that he's been acquitted, he signed a copy of his own impeachment and is putting it up for auction. It started off with the minimum of $4,000 bid, and it's up to $81,000. There's nothing but his signature on something that was there to attack him, and he's going to make a profit off of it. And it's not even over. It's $81,000 as of right now. So that might change later. I might update. I might not. It's just a joke. But this cat joked about winning to the point where you get tired of winning. I laughed at it. That's impossible. But now I'm like, hubris is the only thing I'm worried about. That he's been on the road for so long that he might not get. He might get cocky. And if he gets cocky, he might slip up. And if he slips up, he might lose this upcoming election. So I hope he stays on his toes. But I don't think he's good at what he does. But I think he has a great team behind him. I'd like to know who's coming up with some of these ideas. I don't think it's all him. I'm sure he takes credit for it all. But I think he has good people behind him. I think he has young, savvy, clever, sharp people working for him that are keeping, when they bought up Jeb Bush's domain when he was running for election, or when he was running for as a candidate, that was a slick move, and he just rerouted that domain to go to Trump's domain or to Trump's site, and that was a ridiculously sharp move. Somebody had to been on the ball for that one, but and he did the same to Biden for Latinos for Biden. He bought that domain as well, and that links now back to Trump, or it has a Trump positive website, which is just sharp as a button. And even the "Make America Great Again," that wasn't his slogan. That was actually a anti-Trump. It was an anti-Trump T-shirt company that said "Make America Great Again," as opposed to "Making America Great." They're talking about making it back to Obama era or back to a different era. And he actually took that slogan from that company and made it his presidential campaign slogan. So this guy's a troll, sharp, and he has good people behind him. So kudos to him on the win. Yeah, that's all I can say. Some things I never saw coming, especially him signing a copy of the impeachment and making money off of that. He even every time they make fun of him, every time they slip up or they make fun of him about the Sharpie or the straws, the plastic straws, I think he made about $1 million with the Sharpie and plastic straw with his campaign selling those. That's ridiculous. This guy just takes trolling to a new level, to the point where he's actually making cash. So if you want to follow it, I think the link to the actual auction is here. You could actually bid on it if you have the cash. I might, if I ever had the cash, but it's up to you to follow if you want to talk about it or think or just awe at how wild this cat is. Have at it. That's it for me today. No, not even for today, but that's it for me for this segment. I'll come up with another segment, and then we'll talk about Bernie Sanders and what I think about his election. So thank you for your time. Hopefully, I'll see you here in a bit. お疲れ様です。